Hi, my name is Steve Matthews, and today I wanted to do a brief introductory to a topic that's been labeled mud flood. And what the whole deal is that in every major city across the whole world and on every continent, we have these older buildings that have, marvelous architecture and design work, but it appears that the first floor of most of these buildings have been buried, and there's no official explanation for where all of this debris and sediment came from. And people have labeled it mud flood for lack of any other terminology. But you can find this in any town, even in the town that I live in, which is on the coast of Oregon, and supposedly one of the last settlements in the U.S. We have buildings that appears have basements in them, but you'll see windows and stuff protruding off under the sidewalks, and when they're unearthed, you'll find doors and everything that the first layer was complete, but then somehow it's been buried. Now, this isn't isolated to just my town, but all over the world. We aren't given an official historical account as to where all this debris came from, and that's the question that everybody's asking: is what deposited all this sediment? And you'll see above Conspiracy RS. I used some of his video clips and stuff here in the beginning of this video, but he's got a whole section on this church. It's in Omaha, Nebraska, and you see the same thing with sediment covering the whole first and sometimes even part of the second floor. But Conspiracy RS did a great job on covering a lot of these events. I'll leave a link below. Whatever happened was a catastrophic event and covered most of the world, and we don't find it recorded in history anywhere. And a lot of these buildings are still being occupied. Another video to check out is on YouTube, RebelWithoutaPase, and I'll have a link listed below. He did a video, To Earth, Rome, Was the Mud Removed Under Martial Law? Okay, in that he's got some video footage of the Colosseum in Rome being unearthed, and it looks like there was a 40-foot wall of debris around it. Now, I know that Colosseum may be a little bit older than some of the buildings we're talking about in recent history, but still, something major happened to put that much debris down. One of my hypotheses is that I know they've lied through their teeth about flat Earth and the cosmology, and another thing that the Bible talks about is that there was supposed to be wormwood and also a great star that's supposed to have hit the Earth or in the future, but maybe that's already happened. Who knows? But we're being deceived again, because all of this debris, there's never any reasonable explanation for it. And I believe it's fallout of some sort from either some major volcanic or multiple volcanoes or something, because that's the only thing I know of that can put that much debris anywhere. But something to check out and to ponder. None of us know, of course. And it doesn't take a genius to look around these buildings that are still being used today, and say that something big happened to put all that debris in the streets and around the buildings. I'll let a couple minutes of this unearthing in Rome, I'll let it play for a couple minutes, and then after that I've got a building that's here in my hometown, North Bend, Oregon. We're right on the coast. Now, this building was said to have been built in 1909, and during that time, we were pretty much isolated by rivers and stuff, so there's no road traffic per se in and out of here. So this is the Citizens Building, downtown North Bend, Oregon, said to have been built in 1909. But look at these arches and stuff in the back here. This was another whole floor underneath. And they've dug some of it out, you can see, so they can have access to it. But a building like this requires, some pretty big footing to keep that brick wall with a lot of weight from cracking. And here are 3 different styles of footings that you'd have to have. You have to unearth that to have it unearthed and exposed to be able to do that. Then turn around and bury it again wouldn't make a lot of sense from a building standpoint. But yeah, the whole first floor is completely covered. And you can see that the windows and stuff were built right down in here. They've fenced it off. They're kind of hard to see because of the bushes, but there's complete windows and everything in it. And a basement such as that is really hard to keep dry and stuff. We get a lot of rain here. I know even the new ones that are built with basements, you can't keep them dry. You got to have sump pumps in them and everything. But yeah, poor design. It wasn't actually built that way. I'm almost positive of it. Now you can see in the walkway, in the sidewalk, in just a minute here, I've got some, they're some kind of glass or something, and they've got lighting for in the hallway to get access to the underneath there. And somebody broke a hole in one of them. But you see the slope on this sidewalk? It's real common in a lot of cities to have a slope like this. One side of the building filled right up the top, complete walls and everything underneath, and then you've got windows protruding right off into the sidewalk, just like this here. I mean, some of them are way worse than that, but you can see they're both 2 different buildings. This is the building I was just showing you in the back, and the one on the other side of the street I noticed was the same way. And up the end of the street there was more of them. But we're a small community, and North Bend, Oregon, being on the west coast of the United States, was supposed to be the last settled area as people moved west. And yet these buildings, a lot of them are showing the same evidence as the ones in New York, and there's another one in all the cities across the United States that show the same thing. Yeah, and I don't think it was the style to build them like that either. And it's bothered me for years before I ever heard about this. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it.